This video is sponsored by Tracklib. Jump! Hello YouTube, it's Akrit again, back with another video from the home studio. Today I'm gonna check out this new feature from Tracklib called Tracklib Beats and use that to find a loop from a sample and make that into a sample-based beat on Machine Plus.
Accurate beats.
But if you don't know what Tracklib is, think of it as this digital record store that's specifically made for sampling. A place where you can find actual music released on actual record labels from back in the days up until today and use that as samples for your own beats. They also have this system in place where you can buy licenses to make sure that you're legally able to use the samples and that everyone gets paid accordingly. So that's nice that someone takes care of all that headache. The catalog of music is huge and covers everything from jazz to rock to folk music and more experimental stuff, so we're not talking about pre-made samples here. Now let's jump over to the computer and actually check this out. So this is Tracklib and I've gone into all tracks, so this is basically the entire catalog of stuff. And what's new here, this new feature, is basically that Tracklib has built a drum machine into the interface. You've been able to identify and play back loops from samples on Tracklib for a while now, and the functionality is down here, and Beat just takes that stuff to the next level. Let's play this sample for instance. Alright, and now with the loop functionality turned on, that's kind of cool. Tracklib finds two different points where the sample can loop and plays that back for you. You're able to do that in different lengths from the sample too, so that's kind of powerful in itself. Let's try 4 bars over here. And that's basically the loop functionality that Tracklib has now expanded into this Tracklib Beats thing. Let's turn it on and give it a try like that. What's happening here is not just that a drum loop gets played back in the same BPM as the sample and everything just works. Tracklib has somehow analyzed the different beats from the samples and make sure that that syncs up with the built-in drum machine step by step. So even for older recordings that might be a little bit uneven in tempo, this gets it right pretty much all of the times. And there are a few different variations when it comes to the drums. This is the classic BAP kit. We can change to the Trap Essentials and it sounds like... And let's try double time like that. It's kind of cool that it syncs up like that and just works. And let's also try early house like that in normal tempo. And the last one is called Simple Kick, and it's basically just a simple kick. We can do half tempo, normal tempo, or double tempo as well. And there's also this ducking effect that you can turn from off to soft to medium to hard. Let's try that with the classic BAP for 4 bars. Yeah. So that's basically the same effect that you get from sidechaining, where the volume of the sample ducks whenever the kick drum hits. Now, beatmaking is of course more than just finding a loop from a sample and playing that together with some drums, but I think this is kind of inspirational and a cool way for me to start thinking about sampling in a new way. Sometimes I've heard a sample that I wouldn't even go back to listen to twice, making a lot of sense in this system. Hearing the sample in context puts me to a great start and makes me know what the next step might be. Let's try to find something else. Yeah, so even for samples with a lot of drums, this kind of works as long as the ducking effect down here is turned on. That's cool. Let's move along to something different. Yeah, that works. Maybe not what I would have done with that sample, but it still kind of makes sense. That's kind of cool. This is definitely a different way to try to find samples, but this one speaks to me somehow, so let's actually add this one to my favorites and keep moving on. And this entire system becomes really fun when you're trying to look for something a bit unexpected. So let's go here into meditation/healing. With a little bit of work, that could be kind of cool. What can I say? A lot of stuff just works. I've made up my mind and I'm going to use the sample called The Trackers by someone called Dennis Farnan from '69, and it sounds like that. And this sample has a few different loops inside of it that could be used, so let's see. So this could be kind of cool. Let's take the first one over here and let's download that loop. And this one. And just for the fun of it, let's actually take the entire sample too. And those are the files. These are the loops at 1 or 2 megabytes, and that's the entire track right there at 74. Let's import all of those files into Machine and let's get to work. And that seems to work. Now, according to Tracklib, the sample should be played at 89 BPM, so let's just set the sequencer to 89 and put this one on the first step, and let's see how it loops up. Well, almost. Let's increase it to 91. Cool. So now I could play that loop and just add some drums on top of it, like so. And we're officially making a beat. We have the drums, we have the loop from the sample, and that's cool. But let's make another scene here and let's duplicate the sample over to a new slot. And let's go into sampling to start adding slice points to the sample. And since the sample is already a perfect loop, I can just chop it up into equally long slices and make it work like that. Let's try 16. And that's pretty much the same thing. And let's keep thinking about this as a loop, but maybe let's just change the overall pitch of the different slices. Let's play that in the same way and record that into the sequencer. And according to Tracklib, the sample is tuned in A minor, and then I went down 3 semitones, so we took it from that to that. And that sounds about right, so let's build a bass line based on those notes in here. So we're getting somewhere. This starts to sound like more than just the loop that we had from the beginning. Now we have the drums and the bass line, but I want to go back to the sample and investigate more of the loops. That one's really cool. And that one's even better, so let's load that one up. Yeah, that sounds really promising to me. Let's start working with this one. And let's give it the same treatment. Let's go to sampling. Let's turn it into split. Send them over to a new group. Choke group, polyphony, pitch. You know what? Let's record that straight into the sequence here because that's cool. Yeah, that's what happens sometimes when you're working with loops like this. Sometimes things just make sense. But I think I could do something else with the sample here and just play it a bit differently. On a new pattern, let's go for something like... Sure, I could do double time like that, but I'm thinking something like... Something like that, and we're still kind of working with the loop here, but I'm just replacing a few of the different slices inside of the loop. So I think that the first scene here needs a bit of work. So let's load up some type of instrument here just to see if we can get something going. You know, adding small, weird stuff like that can actually make sense in the long run, so let's see if we can do something about this. I think I want to add a meta verb on this one, just to make it blend better. And let's decrease the volume. Copy and paste this, one octave up. I'm not sure how I feel about that last edition, but I think I'm gonna keep it in the mix just because the sample needs something a little bit more in that particular sequence. And at this point, I feel like we have a track going. It's time for me to start messing about with effects and scratch and stuff. So, Tracklib Beats, this new functionality on Tracklib that helped me to find these two different loops that I could put together into this track. It seems to work really, really well, especially for something like this. I'm not sure that I would ever have picked this sample out of the catalog if it wasn't for this new functionality. Just hearing a loop from a sample played back together with the drum loop and everything just works, just sparks creativity and makes me start thinking about where to take things. And even if I would have used this sample, I'm not sure that I would have taken it into this direction if it wasn't for this. Remember that we took the sample from this, to this. Check it out. Yeah, we'll get more of that in a few seconds. Tracklib Beats launches today as this video goes live, and it's free for anyone with a Tracklib account to use. It's not anything special that you have to put in a cart and pay anything extra for. It's just a new added functionality on Tracklib. Now it's time to do some scratching and add some effects from the SP404 onto this beat and make it go to the next level. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Until then, ha det gott.
Accurate. Listen very carefully.
accurate beats.